Now, if there's one thing I know you guys like, it's fishing. Lucky for you, I've got just the thing. An overlooked PS1 fishing game, replete with high-quality, pre-rendered cutscenes. Let's check it out. Alright, a mother and her cute baby out on a lovely spring afternoon, having fun in the sun. Really nice to set the mood for some relaxing fishing. Why is the music so tense? Huh? Wait, what is it doing? Oh my god! I don't think this is a normal fishing game. Monster bass, known as killer bass in Japan, is, as far as I know, the first fishing horror hybrid ever released. And what a late release it was, hitting shelves in June of 2000, 3 months after the PlayStation 2. That's probably one of the biggest reasons it's so obscure, and the fact that it came from a relatively unknown developer. Magical Company started off as Home Data in 1983 and put out a lot of miscellaneous stuff like mahjong and shogi arcade cabinets and some ports of arcade and console titles to the personal computer. Also of note, they developed Last Apostle Puppet Show for arcades in 1988, a fighting game 1 year after Street Fighter I, and also the first game to use digitized sprites, and the first to have those sprites be based on claymation figures. It predates Mortal Kombat by a clean 4 years. What a weird world. In 1993, they rebranded to Magical and kept up a pretty steady output of ports and original titles. Nestled in their release history, you might have caught it, is Killer Bass. The title theme is a mischievous little tune, perfect for when you're sneaking around looking for babies to eat. Now, I'm an options freak. The first thing I do in every game is dig through the settings to see what's available. It's a cultural thing. This game has no options to speak of. None. Not even audio settings. That leaves just story, practice, and training. I'm not sure what the difference is between practice and training, so why not just jump into the story? Sure, it won't be too bad. We get a little explanation of the backstory. I guess there were some fish in a lab being experimented on, and one of the tanks fell over and into the local water supply? Now the town is holding the Killer Bass Cup to catch the biggest, deadliest experiment, Killer Bass Jack. The main character is Terry Bogard, making a non-union appearance outside of SNK. You think I'm joking, but Magical ported the first 3 Fatal Fury games to the X68000. Also, it's totally him. The hair, the jacket, the company logo on his clothes. Actually, this conjures up an image of Terry taking rock on a father-son bonding fishing trip. That's cute. He would totally do that. The first stage takes place in a sunny river that runs through the village. A kind of a weird setting to have a spooky font, but sure. The objective here is to catch 3 basses. Simple enough. Just cast our line. That doesn't look like a worm. No, all the bait in this game is various creepy critters like spiders, newts, mice, frogs, all things bass love. Hey, editing Tigan here. There was originally a joke here about how this isn't what bass eat. and I was gonna pull up like the list of things that like are actually in a bass's diet, and you know, be like kind of like forceful with like, no, they love eating spiders. And then I did some quick googling. Bass are freaks. They eat like frogs. Like they eat a bunch of shit. Like yeah, literally everything that I is in this game pretty much they actually eat, including other bass. Maybe that baby cutscene isn't hyperbole after all. Even if a bass couldn't eat your baby, it would if it could. And that's why we need to build a wall between us and the river. And the bass are going to pay for it. You can actually move the bait around with the D-pad to entice the fish. Alright, our first bite. Time to reel him in. I'll just hit some buttons. Huh. Okay, let's try that again. What is happening? There's this awful alarm that keeps getting louder and louder and louder. Online, it says that the main controls for reeling the fish in are up, down, and X. Not sure how the mechanic works, but maybe I can try mashing it out. God damn it. Get over. Come on. Come on. One more foot. One more foot. Come on. 2 more. Hey, second catch. I think I'm getting the hang of it. Alright, final bite, baby. Come on. Come on. Fuck in here. God. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. It's a fucking wild one. Fucking Christ. Oh god, I'm losing ground. No, my dick's gonna qualify. 5 feet. 5 feet, get in here. Get in here. Why don't we try out the training mode? The game offers 2 training mini-games for each main aspect of the gameplay: lure action and fighting. In lure action, the designers have set up 3 levels of challenges for each type of bait in the game. See, each one has a specific movement that makes it more attractive to the fish, with different timings for each. After it's been cast, each lure can move in one of 8 directions on the X and Y axis, and the X button can be used to reel them in closer. There's a push and pull technique here where you're trying to attract the fish to your lure while keeping it just out of reach as you drag it closer and closer. Then, once the fish bites, you have less distance to cover. It makes the fighting part of the game easier. And speaking of, the fighting mechanics are not too unlike other fishing games. Once you get a bite, you input directions depending on where the fish is trying to go, reeling it in when you can. Monster Bass has a weird version of this, however. Instead of wrestling the fish by putting in the opposite direction, you can only press up or down, and you need to hit the one the fish is closer to. It's almost like a rhythm game if all the music was created by, well, throwing a fish on a piano. I eventually figured out that it works kind of like a thin Black Widow hourglass. Stick with me on this one. If the fish's head is facing within the top half, you press up, If it's within the bottom half, you reel it in, and if it's outside of either, you press down. I had to test this out myself because I don't have the manual, and in fact, I can't find it anywhere online, nor are there any guides for this game anywhere. I guess that's what you get when you play an obscure PS1 game from 2000. Now that I know what the game wants from me, I'm feeling confident enough to head back into the story mode. That was a fluke. I got it! So, catching fish in this game relies on you pressing certain directions depending on what the fish is doing. All cool, right? I want you to see if you can spot a problem. Yeah, you can't see what the fucking fish is doing! Even when you get really patient, it starts thrashing around more and more the longer it's on the line. The camera keeps whipping around, clipping into things, not to mention that when it gets really rascally, it can switch the direction it's in within a single frame. It doesn't help that all this movement makes the frame rate drop like hell. The screen is actually updating once every 4 frames. In any event, I tough it out through line break after line break and pass the level to earn a clean 24th place. The second round takes place in Dragon Valley, and our new goal is to catch at least 15 pounds of fish. Gonna be honest, this is where I lost my shit. The first round I could grind out with only having to catch 3 fish total. This time, the first one I caught weighed in at a whopping 2 pounds. This level is even worse with rampant camera clipping and disorienting movement. And I tried, I really did. I played up to the minute, and I just don't have any desire to continue. Maybe this is just me, but I don't find this very enjoyable. The game is so simple that its flaws are equally simple. You have to see what's going on, and the camera is bad. I mean, for fuck's sake, it doesn't even have options. Oh, why are those not available from the main menu? Also, just rumble and stereo or mono? Really? Never mind. I'll admit that I'm not really into fishing, but even if I was, there are probably better games on the market. Hell, there were almost certainly better games on the market at the time that this came out. But before we peace out, let's check out the Japanese version, Killer Bass. Right off the bat, there's a brand new opening cinematic that's all spooky and atmospheric with this duck getting vored. I have a theory about why this wasn't in the US release. The Japanese title is shown at the start, and they didn't have the time or budget to just re-render the intro with a new logo. As to why they didn't call it Killer Bass, I wonder if the word killer would have prevented them from getting an E for Everyone rating. I mean, there's nothing really objectionable in the game besides that, which could tip off a ratings board. I imagine the title change happened pretty late, which is why the Japanese version has such a better title screen and more fitting cover art. Literally everything is the same besides that, save for using the metric system. Like a bunch of communes. We can also take a peek at the other levels. There's only 4 main ones, each with a day and night variant. The intros for the nighttime stages are great. I unironically love them. Why is there blood seeping down the grates in Sunset Park Night? Strangely, Moon Palace Day has blood fill the water in the intro, but doesn't have it in-game. I want to fish in a lake of blood. Monster Bass, or Killer Bass, is a great example of games that just don't get made anymore in this way. I'm not even talking about the weird genre combining that it has going on. I mean the scope. This was a pre-AAA world where you could make a game that had 4 stages with the lights on and off, and 2 mechanics, and sell that for $60 on store shelves. Nowadays, this would be a dinky little Steam game, but back in 2000, the playing field was a lot more even. Of course, the big names had access to marketing power, which was the real deciding factor, but in terms of how expansive a game could be, there weren't really 100-man teams crunching out blockbuster titles back then. The PS2 remains the highest-selling console of all time, and the 6th generation that this game got close enough to kiss laid the groundwork for a totally transformed industry. In that sense, I think it's kind of neat, like a quaint little reminder of how things used to be before gaming became the sleaziest, most hyper-capitalist industry next to, like, pharmaceuticals or something. If you think the combination of horror and fishing is cool, there's a little game on Steam called Mysteries Under Lake Ophelia. Remember what I said about you can't just sell something like this for $60? It's like $3 US, and it's just a fishing game with a horror atmosphere. It has good reviews, and I'm convinced it was inspired by Killer Bass. As for Magical, they're still around. Technically, they have gone away to the nursing home for Japanese game devs, a slot machine and pachinko. Most of the people who worked on this game have, at most, like, 1 other credit to their name. Kind of makes it a little spookier, like, ooh, a short-lived career. It could happen to you. Patreon podcast. Happy Halloween. Bye.
Here comes a daredevil. Game over.